Hi there, my name is Maria Gurdieva. I'm the founder of Studyamerica, and we help international students from all over the world get accepted to top US universities. In this video, let's talk about Harvard and how to get financial aid at Harvard University. Harvard is one of the oldest and one of the most prestigious universities in the world, and of course one of the oldest university in the United States. It's one of the first university founded out there, and it's a very, very famous university of Ivy League, and a lot of people think of Harvard as of that name, like that university that symbolizes very prestigious education. Harvard only accepts 4% of their applicants, which is extremely low, so it's really hard to get in. And a lot of students think that they also cannot afford Harvard, that Harvard is a very elite institution and only people with a lot of money can get in. And that's not surprising. The overall cost of attendance is over $80,000 a year, which of course scares a lot of people, especially international students. And here I want to talk to you about financial aid at Harvard and the fact that it can be affordable, and you can afford Harvard if you get in. Let's go. And before we begin talking about it, please subscribe to my channel. There are a lot of very useful videos about getting to American universities and about all the steps in the process of reaching your dream school and getting financial aid. So do not miss our next videos. Subscribe to my channel. So out of the applicants of 61,200 students, Harvard last year only accepted 1,900 at 1,984 students. And so this is less than 4%, which makes it extremely competitive. It's not only that hard to get in, it's nearly impossible to get in, but it's also very expensive to study in there if you don't get financial aid. And that scares a lot of people. However, Harvard University talks about being even more affordable than a public college for American students. You know that public colleges are generally very cheap for American students and private universities are really expensive, but Harvard makes it much more affordable, and even more affordable than if an American student goes to a public university, because 90% of students at Harvard get some form of financial aid. And the university not only gives financial aid to American students, making it affordable, even more affordable than the public college, the same financial aid works for international students as well. So they don't have to do anything to qualify just as much as Americans do. So in order to study at Harvard University, you ideally need to pay $76,000 a year for your education, for your food, and for your accommodation. The overall cost of attendance is $76,763. And this does not include some personal expenses that you will also have. You need to buy some books, you need to buy something for your apartment, you need to buy something for your classes. That would probably cost you another $3,500. Also, you need to get there, and in order to get to Boston and to get to Cambridge, which is nearby Boston, you might need to fly from somewhere. So you also need to think about those expenses as well, those flight tickets and everything else. Overall, we get about $80,000 to $84,000 to study at Harvard. 20% of Harvard students pay absolutely nothing. 55% of students get financial aid on top of those 20%. And overall, Harvard notes that about 90% of people get some sort of financial aid. And the thing is that the American students, they not only can take advantage of Harvard financial aid, they also can take advantage of federal financial aid. And foreign students cannot do that. However, they still can apply for the university financial aid, which is so generous that they can cover the federal part. So the American students, they take some money from the government, which makes Harvard job a little bit easier. So then Harvard has some extra money to cover those expenses to international students. And of course, international students are not the majority, so there's some money left. If the family has an income less than $75,000 a year, this family is considered poor and they can get full financial aid, covering their expenses, their cost of studying, their cost of their accommodation, their food, everything. If the family is earning more than $75,000 but less than $150,000, then such family can get the full discount on their tuition, but they will have to pay for their accommodation and their food, which is pretty, much less than the cost of attendance and than the tuition. And overall, it's the expenses that everybody has to do. They have to live somewhere and they have to eat somewhere. So Harvard would not compensate those expenses because the family is in the bracket of more than $75,000 but less than $150,000, but they will cover the entire tuition, the entire cost of studies. And the university, of course, has a financial office. And another thing that is important to know about Harvard is that they are need blind for international students, which is very unique. And if they're need blind, that means that they do not look at your financials before they make their choice, before they figure out if they want you or not. And only after they made those decisions, they actually look at your documents and at your financial documents and figure out, oops, we took a poor student, now we have to pay. So this happens only after they made their choice. Unlike other universities, where this is a factor that is taken into consideration and it's influencing how they make their decisions. In order to apply for financial aid at Harvard, you need to do pretty standard things. You need to fill out the CSS form, CSS profile, where you put all the information about your family income, everything that is going on, what kind of assets you have and your family has, what kind of expenses you have over the year, do you have any special circumstances, all of that. And then you also need to fill out iDoc, where you submit the supporting documents. That's it. This is pretty standard, and you will have to do it for pretty much all your universities where you apply for financial aid. And you send it to Harvard, and they consider it and figure out what is the income, what is the situation, and how much money the student requires. Important here to know, as I said, Harvard is need blind, which means that the most important factor of their decision is your application. And that means that you need to fill a very, very good application that is convincing enough that you are a good fit for Harvard, and Harvard should have you on their campus. That is extremely important, to work on your application and make it very, very strong. And I can help you do that. Please come to my free masterclass where I will tell you exactly what kind of steps you need to take, in what timeline, and how can you make the application so strong that is enough for Harvard, Columbia, Yale, and many, many other universities. I have many students who applied to those schools and got accepted to Ivy League universities and to other prestigious universities. I'll talk about their experience. I will also talk about my research on who get in, and that research helps me to facilitate application of my students to Ivy League schools over 13 years. And I will share you all these secrets, all these methods, and the entire timeline of how to make your application strong so that it qualifies for studying at Harvard. So please come to my free masterclass. The link is in the description. Do not miss it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it was a very useful video for you, and I'll see you in my next videos and, of course, on my free masterclass. Bye-bye.